after hand breeding for about a week and with limited to little success, that's kind of the way it goes with some mares. Some mares are a little shyer than others. Some mares will not breed with you there. They'll breed and they turn up pregnant if you pasture breed. I would rather pasture breed, but right now we're working several mares that are coming to him here in a few short days. We got this mare here. We got another one of our own. And so we're going to transition them now, especially with the way she's been, not too receptive, but yet she is. She shows clear signs of being in heat and teasing him, but then kicks him off. So we're going to try to integrate them, keep this baby safe, and let them get used to each other. We'll pasture them together here in the corral on feed and water and proximity, and then maybe look at him. Flip that tail. Maybe we'll be able to get a little bit of success this way. Hi, big boy. No kid. You're just such an easygoing guy. What I love about him, he's really, overall, he's a stud. Studs are studs, and studs have stud behavior. But he is really just such a calm, sweet dispositioned horse. What I'm going to do is I'm just letting them get acquainted. She's winking. I mean, she clearly has been teasing him across the fence earlier in the day. But my biggest concern is his colt. So what I'm going to do is kind of work between them here. And I don't want this colt to get tore up, get hurt, because she's going to be scared to death. You can see that behavior, snapping her teeth a little bit, snapping that mouth, letting them know that, hey, I'm scared. I am no threat. And so I'll get a hold of the baby, and I'm going to turn this stud loose again. And he's going to chase her around. He's going to herd her a bunch. We'll let that happen. And if she's receptive, fine. If not, also fine for now. But then he will become disinterested in her. And when that happens, then we'll go ahead and turn them together, turn them loose. And then I'll let him have this baby. Ooh, kiddo. Ooh, kiddo. And this is kind of why we like to play with them too, because look how manageable this baby is already. All right, I'm going to turn him loose. Got a hold of baby. There you go. Here you go, Pumpkin. And now he's more interested in the cat. That cat is the second meanest thing on the place. Bandit the barn cat will whip anybody, and has proven it. Now I'm going to pull her out of the way here. So she's got a poop pile over there. He's going over and sniffing for some estrogens, progesterones, some alike on our female. And I don't necessarily like keeping a halter on an animal when they're turned loose. And which has been riding you, haven't they? But in here so we can get a quick catch on them when we need to. Just a little bit of precaution. There, girl. There you go, girl. And this is his baby from last year. And it's interesting, he's had a lot of interest in her. And that old thing where a stud won't tolerate another stud's offspring, I don't necessarily buy that. We've had a mix and mash of sired foals over the years being put with other stallions, and you know what? They've never bothered him, never hurt him. Look at him. There's some behavior for you, some stud behavior. He's chewing on that poop pile that she created, crunching that down, tasting it, finding out all those hormones that are excreted. See, he seems pretty disinterested. So I'm going to leave this rope on this little guy and let her go with mom. Hopefully he doesn't now just run her. I don't think he will. Hope not. But trying to introduce these guys can be a challenge. Trying to introduce them quietly, especially a stud with a mare that he wants to breed, is not always the non-dramatic scene. Her job is to keep that baby safe, and she's doing that. Now here he's going to take a run at her. See some snaking type behavior. That head comes down. Now he's going to herd her. He's just pushing her away, laying that ear back or both ears back, stretching that neck out, keeping that face low. That's all behavior of a dominant stallion. And notice how subtly he's just moving her around where he wants her. So we're going to just leave them alone here for a while, kind of back off and watch them, and then see what takes place. Now, if she goes down there, he's surely going to follow, and this might cause a little bit of drama. Let's make sure this colt goes with. Yeah, that's not what we wanted. Come on, little one. Come on, little one. There you go. There you go. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? And here comes the stud. She's going to run down to these other horses. He's going to push her down there or cut her off. Yeah, he cut her off, didn't he? Yep. And we got 3 stud colts, or yearling studs, that will be gelded. But look at that. Yearling is snapping his mouth a little bit like, hey, look at me. I'm no threat and I'm no challenger. And he'll do this on the pasture too. He'll run people off like that. Other guys, usually other mares. He will isolate some mares and breed, and then he'll bring them together, keep them together, move them around, just to show his dominance. His reason is keeping that harem and then being able to breed, isolate and breed alone with a mare. I think he's sniffing noses with a mare there. Yep, and she's an open mare. She may be coming into heat. That's what I really like about him. He's nice and quiet, calm, still a stud, but in comparison to some, I'm inclined to think that not much is going to happen between him and her now, especially with us here and as new as it is and with these other horses here. So we'll probably just leave them alone, check on them frequently, and then they'll really settle tonight. It's always better to join horses together in a herd if you can in the evening time, especially if you think there's going to be any kind of conflicts, and there always is, just how bad they are. But if you join them in before dark, give them a little chance to get acquainted, and then they tend to settle it much better, much easier than they do during the day. So we'll let these guys do the same thing. Maybe she'll breed up here in the next day or two. Let's hope. But for now, we're just going to let nature take its course, hopefully the right course. Next progression of what we're going to do with this colt and mare, and that is we've had about a week of time with her where we've been imprinting this colt. She's not into her full heat yet, but that's coming up. So you've seen how we introduced the stud to the other mare, Strawberry, after she had her colt. And so now we're going to take Callie over, and we're going to do the same thing, except now we're going to introduce these 2 mares and colts together before we introduce the stud to them. And there's not much of an introduction that's going to take place, I don't believe. These mares both want to protect their foals, so they likely won't go near each other. They might run around and keep some distance to try to protect their foals from somebody else, especially Callie. Here, she's not been around any other horses since she had this full maternal instinct keeping these colts safe. And look, this colt is really looking things over. I'm going to take him out here a ways. Yeah, not your baby. Oh, colt's confused. There we go. There we go. Just leave him alone. And a lot of times they're like cows. I'm surprised that she's as curious about that colt as she is. She's got her own colt, knows who it is. And her personality usually is to get completely away from everybody. We'll see how this goes. Little ones are both going, hey, there's somebody my size. Who is that? We'll bring the stallion in. He's been in with Strawberry and her colt. So we'll give them a little bit of time, get acclimated, and then we'll turn the stud in with these two. Introduce that stallion to this mare and foal. She will be coming into heat here on a full heat fairly soon. This is a real surprise for me. I'm being made a liar now. But you'll notice even that little colt, that new stud colt, is more apt to stay right close to his mother. And now this Strawberry may be hurting them just a tiny bit. Yeah, don't you kick him. And they'll do that. Not a horrible kick, but just enough to tell a baby to keep away from me. He did invade her space a little bit. He was in there acting like he was going to go in and try to steal a little bit of milk. So they don't want to tolerate too much. They want to feed their own kids most of the time. There we go. Now we're starting to see a little bit more separation. She's a little more disinterested. And it's getting late in the afternoon. We're not introducing this stud yet. That'll probably be tomorrow sometime. But allowing these guys some time on their own. They know where the water's at. We got some hay in here for them. And then those colts might come to each other a little bit and say, hey, what grade are you in? Yeah, this little filly is really curious about this new addition here. Across the corral here, and we got the stallion is with two mares that we just put him with, and he's going to try to run off these yearling colts. He's got to protect his harem. He's got to make up an adversary. So these two mares are both coming into heat, and it's time to, of course, breed them so that they're well into May time, foaling next year, and then we don't breed in foal with a plan to have them in January like some folks do. We don't train these guys at 2. We give them a little bit more time to grow, develop, mature physically before we get on them. And it's really easy to train a 2-year-old. 2-year-olds are super easy, but when you're our size, you can hurt them. So we tend to wait an extra year, give them another 12 months or so to get some bone growth and close some growth plates, things like that, so they don't get hurt. So now it's time to introduce these guys in so that we have these colts in about May or so. And so we brought him in. He's attempted to breed both, and they're both ready to have a breeding session, or 7 or 12, whatever it takes. And we just let them breed naturally if we can like this. I like that best. And then have them in here overnight for the day. And then we'll probably turn them together with these mares and colts sometime tomorrow evening, see how they do. And everybody settles down, gets a little bit of herd hierarchy reestablished. Then we will kick them out into a big pasture and let them go for the summer. We'll pull everybody's halters off. These colts have been played with enough. And the imprinting is done pretty well. We'll this fall bring them in and then rehalter, play with them some more, do some more imprinting on them, and play with them throughout the wintertime like we have these other yearlings that we had earlier. A couple of them are out with a big herd. These 3 guys here are all young stallions that we're going to have gelded. So we kind of want to keep them separate. Some of them got some ideas that they're much older than they really are. And so we don't want to have any kind of a whoops and unintended breedings that would cause genetic issues, line breeding, that kind of stuff. I mean, you got to manage your herds. And it's a pain and it's a lot of effort, but it's got to be done if you're going to do it right. So we got a narrow window. Some of these mares are in heat. Some are not, of course, but they'll cycle through. and we'll let nature take its course. I like to pasture breed better. I think they're generally more susceptible to breeding up better. Hi, honey. How are you? Let's take yours off too. Should take yours off too. And a girl. We're gonna go give you some pasture running. Yeah. Let's get to go do some pasture running. Be free. Hi, little one. Hi. Hey, sweetheart. How are you, girly? Here, you can have a little bite. Yep, go ahead. Hi. Hi, Pumpkin. How are you, huh? How's your pumpkin girl? Oh, yeah. Let's see, we're able to stand up over the top of her. She come right up to me, or she's with her mother, but she could have been just as easily tempted to stay behind her and hide behind a dress like you see little 2-year-olds do in human terms. Oh, come here. No, 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 no. Yeah, I know. Just hang on. There you go. No pressure release. No, come here. Come here. Yeah, yeah. There you go. Oh, that feels funny. That feels a little funny. Yeah, how come I don't have to have my halter on anymore? We'll grab the stud, we're going to put him in with her. Give them a fair shot at breeding without interruption from these other mares, that they do get competitive. And I think it's a matter of, hey, I need to procreate, and I need to procreate before she does, because it's all about me. The whole world is all about me, isn't it, honey? Atta girl. Come over here. Come here. Come here. There you go, little guy. Oh, he says, yeah. All right. She's very interested. Hey, little man. She's interested, but she's also protective of that colt. Is understandable. And she does want to stand for him. She's clearly given signs she's ready. And we'll introduce these mares. Yeah, she's still teasing him a little bit, and we're going to have some drama, of course. The reason we're bringing these horses together is stud with these mares and colts, and then these mares that are open that we want to breed up. We're doing this in here in the corral. It's relatively safe. It's as safe as you can get for these colts, and not running them through barbed wire fences, because they do get to run, and these colts don't know what a fence is. And so they will just run alongside of it, and then, or run towards it and get pushed by this stud and get tore up. We've had it happen. To be quite honest, it's not what we want, but it has happened. So, you learn over the years. Sometimes it's easier than others. When you got multiple mares to breed, it complicates it. One mare and one colt, that's easy. Bringing them in here for safety's sake, these colts, is most important. You let them settle down, and then go ahead and turn them out into the pasture. All of that drama is reduced, and that stud may run him off a little bit, but he's not going to run him hard like he hasn't seen him before, because they will get down and have that snaking motion with his head, and the herding instinct and that herding behavior. And, it's about running him around and controlling him. And that's what he's doing when he does that. So getting him out now away from here, because we're in a tight, confined space for breeding, and he may breed this mare on the right, the sorrel with the socks. Very possible. She's letting him know how interested she is. But breeding them in here is a pretty tight, confined space, and a lot of times if you get them out in a pasture, he will separate them out, keep a mare isolated a little bit more so he can breed undisturbed. It's just the way his nature is. He's very easy on these mares and colts. I've seen some horses, and we've had some that were real knotheads and would really push these mares around hard. Didn't care about the colts, and he really doesn't care about the colts much. They're just there. As they get older, you'll watch him. These colts will start playing with him and hanging out with him, and just kind of lounging, and which is fine. It's good to have that comfort and familiarity, and that he's not in the habit of really pushing these colts around and hurting them. Telling him she's ready. There we go. And she's bred. She's gonna run off until she feels like she needs to be bred again. When that colt is saying, "Hey, something's going on. Mom ran. I'm not know why I am scared, but I'm a little bit scared. Let everybody know I'm just a baby." So he'll just keep working these mares as they present to him. Then he'll keep breeding them up, and hopefully we'll have everybody with this group. It's very possible these 3 horses that you're looking at now, this mare with the colt and then those 2 sorrels, all in heat about the same time. We could have 3 foals next year. Within days of each other, but also they could spread out over a good month, just the way the gestation on a horse is, plus or minus 40 days or so, 38 days, something like that from the breeding date. It's evening time, and so we're going to turn these mares and colts and stallion all out. Kind of a windy evening. But here they go. Mares and colts are coming out. Stud's going to show up. Got to go get them gathered up. They're going to scatter around a good bit. And he's going to try to keep them contained, just letting them go out, do their thing, helping them out as much as we can without allowing them to fight for a long time. And I don't think there's much fight in them because we introduced them here in the corrals, got them together, and as you can see from this morning, there really wasn't much going on. And that kind of continues. Now they're just feeling good, feeling free. So we'll see how they do in the next few months.